Okay, we're back. So we have our variable that we created at the top here all ready to go. And right underneath that, I'm going to put in our two functions that we need for our sketch. So the first one is the setup function. So you type in void space setup, opening, closing parentheses, space, opening curly brace, and then give yourself a few spaces and do a closing curly brace. All right, and then underneath that, we're going to do the draw function. So type void draw, opening, closing parentheses, space, opening curly brace, and give yourself some room in there, and a closing curly brace. Okay, so for the setup function, we're going to make a nice big canvas for this. So I remember we have the size function, and I'm going to make my canvas be 500 pixels by 500 pixels. Don't forget the semicolon. And so the other thing I wanted to do is make the background color be, for now, let's just keep it white. Actually, we'll make it black. So 0, 0, 0, ending. Okay, so let's see what we have here when I run it. Great, so I have a nice big black canvas here. All right, so let's go back, and in our draw function, we're actually going to learn a new kind of shape. So we've been doing lots of rectangles up to this point, and in this video I'm going to show you how to do an ellipse. So an ellipse is kind of like a circle, and so an ellipse has um, four numbers that need to go inside of it. We call those four parameters or arguments. And so the first one is the x coordinate, just like a rectangle. The second one is the y coordinate. The third one is the height, or I guess you would say the diameter of left to right, the width. And then the fourth one is the height up to down, okay? So going back to my sketch here, I'm going to type in ellipse, opening parentheses, and so for my x-coordinate, I'm just going to say 0. My y-coordinate, I'm going to go about halfway down, so that would be 250. I'm going to do a width of 100 and a height of 100. So let's draw that and see what it comes up with. Here we go. All right, so you notice I only have half of my ellipse here, and that's because the origin of an ellipse is actually the very center of it. Okay, it's a little different than the rectangle. The rectangle, remember, our origin was in the top left corner. The ellipse origin is in the center. So if I want to see the whole ellipse, I need to move it over, I guess 250 would be half of it. So in my very first parameter here, my x-coordinate, I'm going to change that from 0 to 250. And let me run that. There we go. So now my ellipse is in the very center of the sketch. Okay, great. So now, how do we use our variable with all of this? Well, what we do is our variable is an integer. And so we can actually, if we look in our ellipse here, we have 4 integers. All right, and we're going to replace this integer with the variable. And I'm going to use it for my x-coordinate. So what I'm going to do is, instead of having this 250 here, I'm going to type in the name of the variable, chicken. Now when I do that, what do you think is going to happen? So chicken at the top is equal to 0. So if I run this, this first parameter here should be 0, and that should bring the circle back to where it was when it was cut off. So let's stop it and run. There it is. So it's working. So now, if I changed chicken up here to a different number, let's say 50, I stop it and I run it again, notice it starts to change down here. So that's really awesome. So that's how we use variables, but still nothing's really changing as this is happening. As the draw function is called, this keeps looping and looping and looping. It actually loops 60 times per second. But still, chicken doesn't changing. So in our next video, I'm going to show you how you can change a variable inside the draw function.